Okay, so you know how we always love digging into your suggestions for fascinating new developments and all,
Mm.
and you've sent in some really interesting stuff recently.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely some exciting things happening.
so today, I think it makes sense to zoom in on one that really stands out.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's Google's brand new Gemini 2.5 AI models.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those have been making headlines for sure.
Yeah, they have.
Big time.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a bunch of articles, and you flagged a really great one from The Verge.
Oh, yeah, that was a good deep dive.
It was, and it really, gets into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, I think our mission should be to try and understand
Yeah.
what exactly is so different about Gemini 2.5.
Right.
Like, what is making Google be so confident
Mm-hmm.
that this is their best model yet?
Yeah, I mean, every time a new model comes out, that's what they say.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So, gotta figure out what's really going on. What's the reality?
And also kind of zoom out a little bit and think, what could this mean
Mm,
for the future of AI as a whole?
the big picture.
Yeah.
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 That's the exciting part, I think.
All right, so let's get into it.
Okay, I'm ready.
So right off the bat, the article kind of throws out this pretty major claim from Google.
Okay, what's that?
And they're saying that Gemini 2.5
Mm-hmm.
is not just a minor upgrade or an update.
Right.
It's like a significant jump
Okay.
in AI capabilities.
Interesting.
And they're attributing this to two main things.
Yeah.
One, a more advanced kind of underlying model,
So the foundation is different.
base model.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then two, smarter ways of refining it
Mm-hmm.
after that initial training.
Oh, so post-training.
Post-training, yeah.
Interesting. So it's not just the initial learning, it's how they
How they refine it after that.
continue to mold it.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting stuff.
So, and they're not shying away from comparisons either.
Oh, really? Okay.
The article mentions that Google is claiming that
Yeah.
their experimental Gemini 2.5 Pro model
Okay.
actually outperforms
Mm-hmm.
some of the biggest names out there.
Like who?
Like OpenAI, you've got Anthropic, XAI, even DeepSeek.
Wow. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is, and across
Yeah.
several key AI benchmarks.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and what's really cool is how specific they're getting with these benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
The article mentions that they're testing things like general understanding,
Right.
mathematical reasoning,
Right.
coding proficiency.
That's essential these days.
It is.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of other capabilities.
So like a comprehensive evaluation across different areas.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not just one narrow focus.
Right. Right.
So it's a pretty broad set of tests.
I mean, it makes sense. They want to show that it's well-rounded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it speaks to their ambition with this model.
Definitely. But we do have to remember, though, that these are Google's findings about their own experimental version of Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Right.
So it's we always have to take it with a grain of salt.
Of course.
Yes.
Always got to be a little bit skeptical.
Exactly.
But still, it's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, for sure.
And if any of our listeners are interested in checking it out for themselves,
Oh, yeah.
the article does mention that access is currently available
Mm-hmm.
through Google AI Studio
Okay.
and also for people with Gemini Advanced subscriptions.
So there are ways to actually try it out.
Yeah, it's not just theoretical.
That's great because then you can actually
You
see.
get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See how it performs in the real world.
So, but I think one of the maybe most exciting things
Right.
that they're highlighting is this shift towards what they're calling reasoning models.
Reasoning models. Okay.
And this seems like a really fundamental change
In what way?
in how AI is processing information.
Okay, so not just the amount of information, but like the way it's thinking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about, quantity, but like the quality of that processing.
right. Yeah.
So let's unpack this reasoning thing a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Like, what does this actually mean in practical terms?
Mm-hmm.
Because that sounds like a pretty big step
Yeah, it does.
beyond just finding patterns in data.
Right. It's got to be more than just pattern recognition.
So according to the article,
Yeah.
these reasoning models are designed
Mm-hmm.
to approach tasks
Okay.
in a more step-by-step fashion,
Okay, so like breaking it down.
breaking it down.
Interesting.
So almost like the AI is
Mm,
breaking down a complex problem
okay.
into smaller, more manageable chunks,
Right.
analyzing each stage,
Okay.
and then coming to
Like a more reasoned
a more reasoned and informed decision.
conclusion.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
So the outcome of all this is They're saying it's going to lead to more accurate
Okay.
and nuanced answers,
Makes sense.
especially when you're dealing with those really complex prompts.
Right. So the more complex the question, the more this reasoning ability would come into play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I actually found this quote from their blog post
Okay.
that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, what's that?
So they say, we're building these thinking capabilities
Okay.
directly into all of our models so they can handle more complex problems and support even more capable context-aware agents.
That's a mouthful, but it's really interesting.
It is. It is.
It sounds like they're really emphasizing this idea of making the AI more intelligent, not just more knowledgeable.
Right. More than just a bigger database.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about the way it uses the information,
It's the processing.
the thinking.
Yeah.
That's a huge step.
So if we kind of connect this back to the bigger picture of AI.
It seems like what we're seeing is a shift away from AI that just identifies correlations in data.
Right. Like the traditional machine learning approach.
Yeah. And moving towards something that can actually
Analyze and understand.
actively analyze information.
Like a human would.
Almost like a human.
Yeah.
Interesting. So instead of just remembering a similar situation,
Right.
it's like, okay, I'm going to think through this problem.
Solve it step by step.
Yeah. And come to a new solution.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
So another big area that the article emphasizes is Gemini's multimodality.
Multimodality. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
We do.
But what does it actually mean in this context?
Yeah. So what are the specific advantages
Mm-hmm.
that Google's highlighting with 2.5 in terms of multimodality?
Okay, so it's not just a buzzword.
Right. It's got to be more than that.
You're actually doing something with it.
So what's really cool here
Mhm.
is that Gemini can apparently understand all these different types of data natively.
Like what kind of data?
So they list text audios, still images, video, and even code.
Wow, that's a lot of different modalities.
It is. It is.
And it can handle all of them. And it can understand them all together.
Right. So it's not just separate silos of information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can see the connections
Wow.
between them. So you can imagine an AI that can not only read a report,
Okay.
but it can also analyze the presentation slides
Right.
and even listen to the audio recording of the meeting
And put it all together.
and put it all together to get a really full understanding.
Wow. That's like a whole new level of comprehension.
It is. It is.
It's not just reading. It's like experiencing the information.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where things start to get.
Really interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
Because it's starting to approach,
Human levels.
human-like understanding.
Yeah,
That's exciting and a little scary.
it is a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the article also mentions a really big increase in something called the context window.
Context window. Okay. And this is a little bit more technical,
Mm-hmm.
but it has some really interesting implications.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So basically, the context window
Yeah.
is like the amount of information
Hmm.
that the AI can actively keep in mind.
Okay, so like it's working memory?
It's working memory. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
When it's like processing a prompt or having a conversation with you.
Right, so it's like how much it can remember
Exactly.
from the past.
Yeah. And a larger context window means that it can remember and refer back to more.
Oh, okay, so the bigger the window, the more it can hold.
The more it can hold in its mind at once.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and they're talking about a context window of 2 million tokens.
2 million. That's huge.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So just to put that into perspective,
Okay.
that's like the equivalent of an entire novel
Wow.
or like a giant collection of research papers.
So it can process all of that at
A
once.
single guy.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
It is. It is.
So instead of just remembering the last few sentences or paragraphs,
It can remember a whole story.
a whole detailed narrative.
Wow.
Or a really complex set of instructions.
Okay, so that would change things for like creative writing or
Oh, yeah.
research,
Research, yeah.
complex problem solving.
Yeah, any task that requires remembering a lot of information
Right.
and keeping it all in mind.
That's a game changer.
It is.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
to really kind of underline their confidence in this model,
Mm-hmm.
the article mentions a statement from
Oh,
a pretty important figure at Google,
okay.
Demis Hassabis.
Oh, yeah, the CEO of Google DeepMind.
Yeah, exactly. And he seems really positive
Mm-hmm.
about Gemini 2.5 Pro based on his post on X.
Oh, okay.
So the article even quotes him
Yeah.
calling it an awesome state-of-the-art model.
Mm-hmm.
#1 on El Marina by a whopping plus 39 ELO points.
Okay, ELO points El Marina. Break that down for me.
Okay, so El Marina
Mhm.
is basically a public platform
Okay.
where they put all these different AI models head to head.
Oh, so it's like a competition.
It's competition,
Interesting.
and it's all anonymous.
Okay.
So they get feedback from real users.
So it's not just like a technical benchmark.
It's based on how people actually experience it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like a blind taste test for AI.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, and the ELO rating system, which you might know from chess,
Oh, yeah.
basically gives you a measure of how a model performs
Okay.
compared to others.
So a higher ELO means it's better.
It's better, yeah.
Oh, got it.
And a jump of 39 ELO points is huge.
So Gemini is significantly better.
Yeah, according to the users on El Marina.
Wow, that's impressive.
So it's not just internal testing.
Right. There's some external validation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's important.
It's not just Google saying it's great.
Right. Real people are saying it too.
Yeah, and I think to really kind of bring all of this together and illustrate these reasoning capabilities in action,
Okay.
the article mentions a pretty cool demo video.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. What was it again?
So it shows Gemini 2.5 Pro actually programming a video game
Oh, wow.
based on a single prompt.
Just from a single instruction.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So what's really powerful about this example
Yeah.
is that programming a video game, even a simple one,
Right.
involves so many steps.
Yeah, like you got to design the logic,
The rules,
right? The code.
the code.
Maybe even create some visuals.
Yeah, and the fact that it can handle all of that from just one instruction
Yeah.
really shows that it's not just understanding
Right.
high-level requests.
It's actually breaking it down
It's breaking it down into all those little subtasks
and executing them.
and executing them in a logical sequence.
That's the reasoning.
That's the reasoning.
Yeah, wow.
It's moving beyond just generating text or basic code to actual problem solving.
That's a big leap.
It is a big leap.
Yeah.
So I think to kind of summarize everything we've talked about,
Okay.
it sounds like Google's making some pretty big claims with Gemini 2.5. And the key advancements seem to be
Yeah.
this enhanced ability to reason
Right.
through problems step by step.
Like we talked about.
Yeah, it's native understanding of all those different data formats.
Text, audio, images, video code.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that massive expansion of
Yeah.
its working memory, the context window.
2 million tokens.
2 million tokens, yeah.
That's a lot to hold.
It is, it
Yeah.
is. And they're supporting all these claims with, impressive benchmark results
Right.
and compelling demos.
Like the video game.
Like the video game, yeah.
That was really cool.
It was.
Yeah.
So it really seems like they're onto something.
It does seem like a potential game changer.
Yeah, a significant step forward in
Yeah.
what AI can do.
And what's really interesting is that it's not just about processing information anymore.
Right.
It's about understanding it, analyzing it, and solving problems.
Yeah.
In a much more sophisticated way.
Yeah. And that's what's so exciting. It is. And a little bit scary,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
mostly exciting.
Mostly exciting, yeah.
So thinking about all of this, this new ability to reason
Yeah.
and this much greater capacity to handle information,
2 million tokens.
it really makes you wonder,
Yeah.
like, what kinds of problems are we going to be able to solve that we couldn't even imagine before?
Right. What's going to be possible now that wasn't before?
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, like what are those tasks or challenges that are going to become possible with this new approach to AI?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It really pushes us to think beyond
Yeah.
the current limitations.
And think about the future.
Yeah, what could this unlock?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
in scientific discovery,
Okay.
imagine AI that can analyze those massive data sets
Right.
in ways that humans just can't.
Find patterns that we would miss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in various industries,
Mm-hmm.
tackling those really complex data analysis challenges,
Yeah. Making sense of all that data.
making sense of the data. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
what about creative expression?
Oh, yeah.
New forms of art, music, literature
Yeah.
generated by AI that can actually reason and understand.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course,
Yeah.
our everyday interactions
Yeah.
with technology are going to be transformed.
Yeah, the way we interact with our devices,
Yeah. The way we work,
the way we learn.
the way we learn,
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
they really are.
It's exciting.
So it's a lot to think about,
It is.
but it's definitely a development worth watching closely.
For sure, I'll be keeping my eye on this one.
Me too. Me too.
All right, well, this has been another fascinating deep dive.
It has. It has.
It's always a pleasure.
Likewise, and to all our listeners out there, keep those suggestions coming
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
because, we're all in this together.
We're all learning together.
Exactly.
All right, till next time.
See you then.
Bye.